Is this the end of the bond millions believed was unbreakable? Could the image of two hands clasped in the golden Parisian light spell heartbreak for Jungkook, the very soul of BTS, who has never openly spoken about how much these quiet betrayals cut into his heart? If you're wondering why a single moment, a fleeting gesture between Kim Taehyung, better known as V, and actor Park Bo-gum, has sent the fandom into a tailspin, you are not alone. The viral video of Taehyung and Bo-gum leaving a Celine pre-show dinner in Paris, hand in hand, smiling like they were the only people left in the world, has ignited a blaze of curiosity, speculation, and raw emotion that refuses to be extinguished. But behind this glossy surface of celebrity camaraderie, is there a deeper fracture forming in the foundations of BTS's closest friendships? Viewers were left breathless when the clip first surfaced on social media, circulating faster than even the most optimistic PR team could contain. The hashtags #Taehyung Celine and #Taehyung in Paris trended globally within hours, overshadowing every other headline. Fans who once celebrated the unshakable Taik bond, Taehyung and Jungkook's decades-long friendship that has inspired songs, edits, and countless fan theories, were suddenly forced to reckon with an image that didn't include Jungkook at all. Instead, there was Park Bo-gum, a celebrated actor and longtime friend of Taehyung, wearing the same effortless grin, clutching Taehyung's hand as if the rest of the world had vanished. Could it be that Jungkook, the golden magne adored by millions, was watching this unfold from behind the cold, glassy filter of a phone screen? What if Jungkook did see the video in real time, his heart catching in his throat as he watched the person he shared stages, secrets, and silent understanding with, so easily sharing that warmth with someone else? The question alone has tormented countless fans. Why wasn't Jungkook in Paris? Was he invited and simply chose to stay away? Or was he deliberately excluded from this glittering tableau of Parisian elegance and affection? Some claim the answer is hidden between lines of social media posts and cryptic captions that Jungkook has been liking and unliking in the days since. Others believe it is far simpler, that Taehyung and Bo-gum's friendship has simply evolved into something that leaves no room for the dynamic that once fueled the most beloved friendship in K-pop. Witnesses at the dinner report that Taehyung and Bo-gum were inseparable the entire evening, leaning close to whisper in each other's ears, sharing private jokes, and exchanging glances that spoke louder than any rehearsed public statement ever could. At one point, Taehyung reportedly rested his hand gently on Bo-gum's back as they navigated the maze of paparazzi and luxury brand representatives, never once breaking physical contact. Some say it was merely a natural show of camaraderie, the same affection Taehyung has always shared with his closest friends. But others insist it was something different, something that suggested a shifting tide, one that Jungkook might not have been prepared for. How would it feel to be Jungkook in that moment? To sit thousands of miles away, perhaps rehearsing for BTS's long-awaited comeback, while the internet combusted with 1,000 theories about how and why Taehyung had chosen Bo-gum as his companion. Observers have noted that Jungkook has been unusually quiet since the video dropped, posting only a single, minimalist update that many interpret as a sign of his turmoil. A lone black and white selfie, no caption, no context. But was it really just an aesthetic post? Or was it a silent confession of heartbreak he didn't dare speak aloud? The question has driven fans to scrutinize every pixel of Jungkook's online presence for clues that might confirm their worst fears. The story of Taehyung and Bo-gum isn't new. Their friendship stretches back to 2016, when they bonded on the reality series Celebrity Bromance. Even then, their chemistry was undeniable. Two young stars discovering the comforts of camaraderie under the public gaze. Since then, they've been seen together at countless private gatherings and high-profile events, including the Celine show at Paris Fashion Week in June 2022. But until this week, their bond had never seemed to overshadow Taehyung's connection to Jungkook. What changed? Why did this particular moment, a simple handhold in a city of lights, send shockwaves through a fandom that has endured military service hiatuses, solo debuts, and every imaginable rumor? Is it because, deep down, everyone knew this was inevitable, that friendships evolve, and sometimes they drift apart in ways that no amount of nostalgia can reverse. And where does this leave Jungkook? A man who has built his artistry and identity around loyalty to his members, whose every word about Taehyung has always carried the weight of years spent side by side on the world's biggest stages. If Jungkook truly is heartbroken, would he ever admit it? Or would he bury that ache beneath layers of polished professionalism and the promise of a BTS reunion just around the corner? Some fans argue that this is precisely what makes the situation so devastating, because Jungkook will never publicly say he was hurt. Instead, he will smile, perform, and pretend that nothing has changed, even as the person he trusted most has formed an undeniable new dynamic that leaves him out of the frame. Rumors have already begun to spiral out of control. Insiders whisper that the Paris trip was meant to be a private celebration between Taehyung and Bogum, that the dinner was planned without input from Jungkook, that invitations were carefully managed to prevent certain overlaps. Others insist that Jungkook himself declined to attend, citing scheduling conflicts or fatigue. But if that's the case, why do some sources claim he was seen checking his phone obsessively the night the video broke, refreshing his feed in quiet disbelief? Fans who have followed Jungkook's every move for years insist they have never seen him so withdrawn. Could this truly be the wedge that drives Taehyung and Jungkook apart for good? And yet, there is a cruel inevitability to all of this. As BTS members have stepped into their own lives, reclaiming their identities beyond the group, their bonds have been tested in ways no one could have anticipated. The group's military hiatus was supposed to be a pause, a breath before the next chapter. But what if it also created distance that can never be bridged again? Taehyung's Parisian adventures and Bogum's effortless place by his side could simply be the most visible symptom of a change that began long ago, a change that Jungkook may not have realized until it was too late. Fans are left to wonder, is this a passing storm or the start of a permanent fracture? Can the Taik bond survive a reality in which Taehyung finds comfort and connection in someone else's presence, in a city so far from home that even the most loyal heart begins to question where it truly belongs? The silence from all parties has only amplified the questions. Taehyung has offered no statement beyond his polished appearances at Celine events. Bogum has remained characteristically discreet, offering only polite nods to photographers and brief waves to fans. And Jungkook? Well, Jungkook has said nothing at all. Perhaps that silence is the loudest confession of all. For now, all anyone can do is watch. Watch as Taehyung's influence in fashion and entertainment circles continues to grow. Watch as Bogum becomes an increasingly steady presence at his side. Watch as Jungkook navigates the uncertain terrain of a friendship that may never return to what it was. Some hope that the group's 2026 comeback will mend these fractures, that standing on the same stage will remind them all of the bond that made BTS a global phenomenon. But others fear that no amount of shared history can erase the sting of being left behind. So, is Jungkook heartbroken? Only he knows. But as the world keeps replaying that Paris moment over and over, as fans dissect every frame for clues, one question refuses to fade. When the lights go down and the cameras stop flashing, who will be standing beside Taehyung? And who will be left watching from a distance? Many fans believe the story is far from over. In countless online communities, armies are piecing together a mosaic of clues, timestamps of Jungkook's social media activity, snippets of airport sightings, and even speculative translations of Taehyung's brief remarks to fashion journalists. It feels almost surreal that a single night in Paris, a single video of intertwined hands, could awaken so many insecurities in the fandom and in the hearts of those who have always believed BTS were more than just colleagues. It was supposed to be them against the world, wrote one longtime supporter on Twitter, the post racking up hundreds of thousands of likes. But now it feels like Taehyung found someone he doesn't need Jungkook for anymore. Even the most measured voices can't deny there's something uncanny about Jungkook's sudden withdrawal. In the past, he was always quick to support Taehyung's endeavors, liking posts, commenting emojis, sometimes sharing backstage glimpses that reassured fans that, no matter how far they traveled, they were still in each other's corner. This time, there has been none of that. No celebratory posts.
No visible engagement.
Just silence. And that silence has become a breeding ground for every possible interpretation, from the innocent to the most damning. Some have pointed to Jungkook's carefully curated recent posts as evidence he is choosing restraint over confrontation. A single black heart emoji on a story. A muted palette in his photos. A song recommendation whose lyrics speak of longing and disillusionment. Others insist it's all coincidence, that Jungkook is simply focused on preparing for BTS's monumental 2026 comeback. But those explanations ring hollow to fans who have followed Taehyung for years. Fans who know every inside joke, every shared glance, every quiet moment that seemed to say we are in this together. If you watch that Paris video closely, one fan wrote in a viral TikTok analysis, Taehyung isn't just holding Bogum's hand. He's leaning in. He's smiling in this unguarded way. He looked like he belonged there. And for some reason, that broke my heart for Jungkook. It's not just about jealousy. For many, it's about something deeper. The fear that time apart has made even the strongest bonds fragile. That success, distance, and fame have finally begun to erode the foundation of a friendship millions have held up as proof that love, platonic or otherwise, could survive anything. Others have speculated that Bogum's growing closeness to Taehyung represents a shift in priorities. Since 2016, Bogum has been one of Taehyung's few friends outside the idol world, a confidant who could understand the pressures of fame without sharing the same group dynamic. Some insiders claim Taehyung has leaned on Bogum more heavily in recent years, particularly during the uncertainty of military service and the hiatus. If that's true, it's no wonder the reunion felt so intimate, so effortless. But the optics of it, especially with Jungkook absent, have left a gaping wound in the fanbase. Meanwhile, agencies on all sides have stayed conspicuously silent. HYBE has issued no comment about the viral video or the speculation swirling around Jungkook's state of mind. Taehyung's own team has been content to highlight his professional achievements in Paris, the front-row appearances, the high-fashion endorsements, the praise from global media. It's a clever strategy. Focus on the success story, let the personal questions fade into the background. But fans are not so easily distracted. Every unanswered question has only deepened the sense that something precious might be slipping away. This is bigger than a friendship, argues one cultural critic in a widely shared column. It's about what happens when the dream of togetherness collides with reality, when your life grows in directions you never expected, and the person you once couldn't imagine living without is suddenly on the outside looking in. And where does that leave Jungkook, the golden youngest who has always seemed invincible? Some think the heartbreak, if that's truly what it is, will become fuel, more passion poured into his music, more emotion to share with fans when BTS finally returns to the stage. Others worry that the disillusionment will harden him, that the quiet retreat we're witnessing now is the first sign that he's learned to stop hoping for the old days to come back. In the end, no one but the three of them, Taehyung, Bogum, and Jungkook, knows the full truth. Maybe there is no feud, no jealousy, no heartbreak. Maybe it's all just timing and coincidence, a simple confluence of circumstances magnified by millions of eyes desperate to read meaning into every glance and gesture. But as long as the questions remain unanswered, the speculation will continue, because whether fans like it or not, there is no one seeing the image that has been burned into their minds. Taehyung and Bogum, hand in hand, under the Paris lights. And somewhere far away, a silent Jungkook, whose absence spoke louder than any words ever could. And so the question lingers, is this just a passing moment, or the first crack in something too beloved to break? Stay tuned. Because in the world of BTS, nothing is ever truly as simple as it seems.